Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. More massive results in the VCT Americas last night with major implications as to what is going to happen at the playoffs. Big questions though being raised with the results of Loud and the results of NRG over the last couple of days, whether major changes are required not just to the playing situation, but also to the coaching staff. Is it time for Chet to go? What about Potter from Evil Geniuses? Could she come in, potentially bringing Jorgamo along with? So many questions of what these teams need to do. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below, but the old guard has most certainly fallen. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty as always to get into. Firstly, from Edward Gaming, we're going to talk about coaching discussions over the coming minutes. And to be honest, many of the teams in the Americas, they will take their time doing this. Whereas in China, they are pretty brutal. And Coach After is gone. It's actually confirmed. After got laid off by Edward Gaming. He's already gone back to Taiwan. It's nothing that you can't accept. You have to learn to accept it. Esports is like this. There's a new assistant coach. He's been here a while. Always here since the second game. So basically, their coach is gone. Edward are making changes. They've fallen off big time. And honestly, like, it was interesting to note, really, looking at the results of the last couple of weeks. Looking at Edward to some degree, but certainly DRX. Optic as they were, like, after they were Envy and then NRG, and then even Loud, like, part of that old guard, their results in the league over the last couple of weeks have been pretty damn terrible, and shows maybe that time has moved on quite substantially. This, by the way, was the Demon 1 confirmation. Now, look, at the end of the day, he's just trolling it. Thankfully, Demon 1 is not taking the Yay career path, which, you know, the NRG effect, okay, Optic NRG, right? They kind of became the same thing to Disguised, and then, yeah, end of your career, basically, at that point, it seems. So, yeah, thankfully, it's just a joke, but it's a pretty good joke, to be fair. So that was what Demon 1 confirmed. This was funny as well. I just wanted to share this quote because the 100 Thieves versus MIBR game is going to be very interesting, and Busio said a couple of weeks ago now that they're looking very good to make it to the playoffs because they basically, Sentinels have a hard bracket. Our group is easy. We have some really bad teams in our group. But for Busio, they will have to prove that because if they can't, then Nature is probably going to personally drive over to the compound and fire Busio right then and there on the spot. Yesterday, though, Leviathan, they were obviously in a great spot already to make the playoffs. They have capitalized on that. EG came out kind of slow here, and you know, Mazzino, King, and then Aspas just doing Aspas things. Like, I mean, how like absurdly consistent is this guy? The scary thing as well for Aspas is they can also do it on the Neon, which is not exactly a good sign for the opposition. Like Aspas coming in here 23 and 8 on the Jet on the Icebox, like, it happens. But on the Sunset, you know, 25 and 17, lots of impact, most kills in the lobby again. It just is what it is. And Leviathan eventually take this game 13-10. So pretty poor start to the day for Evil Geniuses. Jorgamo on the Neon got outclassed by Aspas in this one. And maybe there should be no massive surprise there. But EG, they now find themselves in a very borderline spot to qualify for the playoffs. And we'll see that's progress over the coming minutes. But firstly, we've got to talk about Loud because these guys made the change. Pancada comes in. And famously, let's not forget, by the way, Pancada had the chance to join FURIA. We talked about this FURIA team being a team of talented players, but on paper, potentially more undisciplined players than you might see on a team like Loud. Firepower, but will they necessarily have the, you know, the consistency that we see on a team like Loud? Maybe not necessarily, but apparently it doesn't really matter. Because Pancada eventually made the decision that he was going to go to Loud instead, was not going to take the FURIA offer. At least that's kind of like the feeling on the situation. You know, there was talk about health issues, right, that he was dealing with too, and that's why he doesn't sign the FURIA deal. But I think most people are kind of the opinion that, you know, Dr. Sadak was the one that he needed to go and see over at Loud to make that deal actually happen. And really, he preferred to go to Loud than he did to go to FURIA. But of course, when they play each other, now it's a different story. Now, this was a mesmerizing 1 versus 4 here for Pancada. Just such crisp, clean aim from this guy. And look, I'm not going to lie, the result yesterday was not his fault. But at the end of the day, it weren't pretty regardless. So Pancada gets the job done. Incredible clutch, but not good enough, right? As Elsa says, never mind, they lost the series anyway, right? And as Sentinel says, someone checked Sadak's medical license. Unfortunately for Sadak, he was getting absolutely cooked in the Twitch chat right here. Like, this is actually on the YouTube. I don't know if you guys have seen this recently, but the YouTube, like, AI or whatever, it will tell you, like, a chat summary what people are talking about. And it's not, like, the AI is not trying to be funny. but the way that it says things so matter-of-fact often is really funny. So anyway, viewers are making fun of the performance of the player Sadak. Some are questioning if he is trolling, they say. So yeah, not a great showing, and I think Loud really have to consider from here on out, and I'll show a couple of clips in a second, what the plan is on especially the duelist side, because as Sadak says, hello guys, my performance is really low. There is a lack of a professional duelist on the team. Well, this, I guess, is, sure, you might want to say this, but let's be honest, Toys could potentially do that, right? Like, he's played Jet in the past. Maybe the Neon is a question, but, you know, do they need to run Neon? Like, we've seen over the last couple of days, teams like Sentinels, they're not using Neon, and they are still winning. Neon is obviously a powerful agent, but I'm not sure that she's absolutely necessary in the meta if you don't want to run her, but, you know, there's a debate on that. I understand the criticism. You know, basically, it's my fault. I'll continue to strive and do my best. It's tough, right? Because, you know, Sadak and the likes of FNS, right? Obviously, legends of the previous era. It does potentially seem to be coming to an end. Sadak's still a great player, but the way that things are currently going, it's obviously not working out. And Loud, I'm pretty sure going into this series, by the way, were 25-0, undefeated against their countrymen. Any team that they've played, MRBR, FURIA, whatever it may be, Vivo, Keed or something, over the last several years from the region, they have beaten them every single time, and they've been the absolute reapers of that region. Not the case yesterday. The first time they've ever been defeated. They're now like 25-1 against Brazilian teams, and this was a pretty bad way to lose because it effectively chalks up their chances at the playoffs. Pancada tried his best. Sadak had a tough time largely on the Neon, and yeah, Havoc and Rosero and Khalil, like, they made a couple of changes, Furia, to basically bring more firepower to the team. They wanted Pancada to be part of that. He didn't end up doing so, and maybe it's come back to bite him. They won the Haven 13-11, but on the Icebox it was 13-10 the other way, and then of course on the map 3 binds, again Sadak puts the Neon on, and look, everyone didn't have a great time this map, to be fair, but Furia didn't run a Neon and still won the game pretty comfortably, largely thanks to Moisera on the Rays. So that's the question for Loud. What do you do? Do you put Toys on something else? Like, should he not be the one, really, given his time on Duelist in the past, running these other agents? How good is he at Neon? How good is he at Rays? These are questions, but they're questions that, frankly, Loud have run out of time to answer.
NRG minus Ethan minus Chet plus Jaw plus Potter equals super team thoughts. I don't think the roster change is going to be the answer. I don't know how much the coaching change would help. I don't know if that's the current problem. Coaching change is an interesting take, but I don't think Jaw for Ethan is going to be the fix, because I feel like Ethan is very good. And I would be shocked if replacing him would lead to better answers, but the coaching change, I can't comment there. I don't know. I do think the Haven comp was an overcooked, but maybe it's because we didn't get to see the full potential of it. Because usually, sometimes NRG does these overcooked comps that do work. At least in the past they have. Not recently, though. I think that for NRG, I don't know, as a coaching change the answer, I think the players are good. And I think Victor's actually a good on Duelist, too. But it's just not working. I can't tell you the answer, but the players are not in good shape. That's for sure. They're not in good form, but they are good players. But what are you going to do with them if they're not playing well?
In this series have done a lot of right things.
Loud Demon 1? I already said that. They should get Demon 1. No cap. He's like baby ass pass.
But he stays alive, takes a step back. Now damage dealt. Instantly top back up.
I don't know how his Neon is though, but fuck it, he's gonna have to learn.
So annoying to play against.
Who do they drop though? I said Pancada or 2Es has to go.
If need be.
And you get Demon 1.
This time the wall went down towards Octagon.
Great job of being proactive with that dog, pushing Sadhak out of hookah. They're gonna re-walk in, even more info gathered.
Just because both of them are playing well don't mean shit, bro. They're losing. If you're playing well on a losing team, it really doesn't mean shit. For absolutely nothing. Loud playing for a chance at playoffs. Find out now who's the winner of this epic series. Sadak with the entry. Can't find anything. Mu0 up in the clouds with the Razor. Poundzine taken out. 2E Sheriff in hand, trying to work his magic. Les with a follow-up, and 2Es going crazy with a triple into the brim molly. He said, fuck it, we ball. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game on our hands.
So potentially changes to Loud should be considered. Obviously, there's been talk about Demon 1, but as I say, it might be too little too late at this point. The other question, of course, has been on NRG, whether they need to make changes to their roster or to their coaching staff. I think, to be honest, that would be the reality is at this point the change that I would look at, right? We've seen Edward Gaming do it. We've heard rumors that Chet wants to go back to coaching Counter-Strike anyway. So, would they just get rid of him soon? The reality is he made this decision, right? They made the call to bring in FNS and Son back into the roster. And sure, the previous iteration wasn't really working, but this version, it doesn't seem like is working either. And Chet, obviously, at some level, has to probably take the blame for that, take the fall for that, especially if they don't make it to the World Championship. So as a result, there was talk about what other options they could look at. Could they look at Potter, right, from Evil Geniuses? We know what she's able to do and potentially make a change in that role, because the path even to the playoffs, let alone champs for NRG, is a massive challenge. Now, this isn't quite the path, but we'll see what it actually looks like right about now. So this is the way the group looks. MLB are dusted at 0-7. FURIA are now 2-6. Like, they can get back to 4-6, but even then, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be enough. Like, I don't know if it's mathematically secured yet that FURIA are gone, as are Sentinels, but the reality is it pretty much is mathematically secured that, FURIA aren't going to make it, Sentinels are going to make it, but it's probably going to be a real battle here in the midfield to determine who makes it. Now, that Loud loss to FURIA was obviously a massive loss for them, especially because Loud's next game is against Lavia Tom, which is obviously going to be far from easy, and then they play 100T for their final game. So yeah, Loud have a rough time here, but tonight is a big one. MIBR versus 100T. That is the game that will potentially determine which final team may go to the playoffs, because Liv are there, Sentinels are going to be there, Crew at 5-2, they should be fine, but they've got 3 more games to go. They could theoretically lose all 3 of those, and therefore it could be a real battle at 5-5. So, Loud, it's not over for them yet. They can get to 5-5, and 5-5 could be enough. 4-6, which is the best that FURIA can do, I just don't think surely that's not going to cut it. So, effectively, I think by FURIA winning the series against Loud, they've kind of screwed over Brazil in some ways, but look, you can't blame them trying their best, obviously. They're playing for their livelihoods as well. But this NRG spot, right, they played Crew tonight, actually. Then they play Cloud9 in a couple of days' time. They need to win basically both of those series, right, to get to where, to try and get to 5-5. And 100T, they kind of need to win tonight to get to 4-4. And then it may well be a battle at some point between EG and 100T in this game on the 8th of July. That will determine who is the final team to the playoffs. But, it still is all to play for based on the results of yesterday. So very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.